Hey, it's Miss Schleiss. Today we're going to do an introduction to nutrition. If we were in the classroom, today would be like a notes day where we just kind of introduce nutrition. And so it's going to be your choice if you want to jot down some of these notes. You will have questions that you'll need to complete after watching this video as a checking for your understanding. So it'd probably be a good idea to jot some notes down, but I'm not requiring that anything be turned in. Also, for those of you continuing on with exercise science, this is a really important topic, and we'll go into more with nutrition in the personal training class. But just in general, also for your health, there's a lot of good information in the nutrition unit. It's one of my favorite ones to do in the second semester. So kind of upset that we're not in the classroom and get to do some of the activities with it, but we'll make do with the best of what we can do, just a shortened version. So like I said, your choice to take notes or not. We're going to be differentiating between different classes of nutrients today. And just to get you thinking, start thinking about what you think of for each of those classes of nutrients, the three main being the carbs, the proteins, the fats, and then also our fiber. All right, let's get started. So first off, a calorie is that unit of measure of energy contained within our food. So when we break the bonds of our food down through digestion, we are going to be releasing that energy. And typically, adults need between 1,600 and 3,000 calories per day. This varies based on your gender, your age, how much you weigh, and then how much activity you do. And we will do an activity tomorrow that's going to go into that metabolism. So calculating how many calories do you need based on these factors. And it's kind of an estimate, but still. And then when you put in activity to it, how much do you need? Because we want to be in that calorie balance where you're not consuming more than you need because you'd be gaining weight, or consuming too little because you'd be losing weight, which could be a goal of someone. But in general, we want to have that calorie balance. And food is actually measured in kilocalories. So when we talk about this is the calorie here, 230 calories, it's actually 230,000 calories because we convert it just to make it more simple from that kilocalories. And we just call it calories, but it's really a kilocalorie. All right, so let's get started with our nutrients. So the first nutrient is carbohydrates. So when you see carbs, you probably think bread, pasta, and that's true, but there are other things that make up carbohydrates. It is our main source of energy for our body. This is what our body wants to use to give us energy. So it should contain the bulk of our diet. About 50 to 60% of our calories that we consume should come from carbohydrates. The problem is we got to eat the right carbohydrates. And it's really easy to overeat the bad carbohydrates and get too many calories. And so simple, these are the ones we want to avoid. It is fast energy. So sometimes we may want that quick energy. Think candy, sugar, they metabolize quickly. So you're going to get that spike in your blood sugar where it's going to raise, but then you usually kind of crash and drop because it gets burned through quickly. So this is our glucose, which is what our body does end up breaking it down into to use. Fructose, which is our fruit sugar, while natural sugars are, better than other sugars. It is still a sugar, a simple sugar. Sucrose, which is our table sugar. Lactose, which is our milk sugar. So complex carbohydrates are the ones that we want to be consuming. You want to eat these. You want to eat these. These are our polysaccharides, many sugars put together. So they're bigger, and so they're harder to break down for our body. So we don't use them up as fast, and so we'll feel fuller longer. So we're not going to overeat these as much. So our whole grains, our legumes, which are like beans, fiber, we can't digest our fiber. Fiber, it comes from fruits and vegetables, and that also makes us feel full longer and gives bulk through the digestive process. So our fruits and vegetables. So if somebody's saying that they're not eating carbohydrates, they are, because they're eating fruits and vegetables. That's a lot of what they're eating, especially vegetables. So they're still getting carbohydrates, but what they're getting rid of those processed carbs, the breads and the rices, and especially the white breads. Those are going to be a simple sugar or simple carbohydrate versus a whole grain. All right, so proteins. There's 20 amino acids that make up all of our proteins. You learned this in biology. This was our codon chart where you put the three letters together. We had our, and then we made our different amino acids. So then these combine to make everything in our body, these 20 amino acids. So we have essential and non-essential amino acid. Non-essential doesn't mean it's bad. It just means our body can make it. So we don't have to get it from our diet. It can break down other proteins and make what we need. Essential, we have to get them from our diet, where our body's not able to make them for ourselves. So if we look at this chart, it's going to show these ones that are solid are non-essential, so our body can make them if we don't get them from our foods. And then the dashed lines are essential. Again, we need to get them from the foods that we eat. So that comes together to how we classify our proteins as complete and incomplete. So we all know, when you think protein, you're thinking meat, fish, cheese, eggs, milk. And so those are proteins, but those are all animal source proteins. But there are plant-based proteins as well. So proteins are important for growth and repair of tissue. They also are enzymes that control the reactions in our body. And we need 15 to 20% of our calories from protein. And for an typical American diet, we usually get a lot more than that. And we just got to be careful because while we think protein is muscle building, we do need it for that growth and repair our muscles. It doesn't mean that if we eat more protein, we're just going to get more muscle. We have to do the work along with it. Otherwise, anything you overeat in calories is just going to still turn to fat and be stored as fat. So eating more protein than the number of calories we need in a day is still just going to get stored as fat. All right, so when we're talking about the two types of proteins complete, these have all of the essential amino acids. So you're getting what your body needs. These are our animal sources: meat, fish, poultry, like chicken or turkey, cheese, eggs, yogurt, milk. Are incomplete. They lack one or more of the essential amino acids. So these are our plant-based. They are grains, nuts, beans, or like a legume. So again, doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that like a vegetarian would need to be more careful in what they're eating to make sure they're getting all the amino acids, all the essential amino acids. So we combine two or more incomplete proteins, and then we can create a complete protein. So an example, these typical vegetarian dishes a lot of times are these combinations. So lentils and rice, or like a beans and rice. Also peanut butter with whole grain bread, or peanut butter on a whole grain cracker. That would be your two incomplete proteins combining to make a complete protein. All right, fats or lipids. We know these are our energy storage. It cushions our organs, it insulates so we don't get cold. But it also makes up our cell membranes and some of our hormones. So we need 25 to 30% of our calories. We can't just not eat fat. We need fat. Our body does need fat. We just don't want excesses of fat. So when you think about this is more than the calories we needed from protein, but it doesn't mean we're necessarily eating more fats. So 1 gram of fat has 9 calories, while 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carb only have 4 calories. So if you're eating 1 gram of fat, you're getting like double the calories than you would get from protein or from carbs. And that's why it's easy to overeat these. So doesn't mean we're eating more fat than we're eating protein. It's just calorie wise, it ends up being more. So we have two different types of fats, saturated and unsaturated. Saturated are solid at room temperature. Think of your animal sources, your oils, your tropical oils, coconut and palm oil. So these we don't really want to consume. Our saturated fats are our good fats. These are, think of liquid at room temperature. So if it's sitting out on the counter, it's a liquid. So these are usually plant-based. These are your olive oil, your peanut oils, your nut oils, canola oil, corn oil. So these are the ones that we want to be using if we can. Think of them being liquid. They kind of just go through us and they don't stick on our arteries. The really bad are trans fatty acids or hydrogenated oils. And these were man-made. So this was not a natural, normal division of fats. Pretty much these have been taken out of our foods. But it used to be, they thought they took a saturated fat, they thought it could make it healthier by making a trans fat. Turned out to be worse. And the reason it's worse is we have two types of cholesterol. LDLs are bad, HDLs are good. And these trans fats, they increase the bad cholesterol, the LDLs, then they also decrease our good cholesterol. And this good cholesterol helps clean out our arteries and the buildup of cholesterol from our arteries. So we want this HDL number to be higher, but these oils bring that down. So not good. All right, so to kind of sum it up, eat less crap, so eat less carbonated drinks, refined sugars, artificial sweeteners and colors, and processed foods. You want to eat more food. What does that stand for? Well, fruits and vegetables, organic lean protein, mainly the lean protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and drink water. If you can follow these rules, basically the simple eat more fruits and vegetables, less processed food, more water, that will go a long way in helping you have better nutrition. All right, to sum it up, we have two types of carbs, simple and complex. We want to consume the complex carbs. Two types of proteins, complete and incomplete. Both are good. Mainly, we just want to be eating lean proteins, but you just got to be careful with the incomplete that you're eating, getting all of your essential amino acids. And then fats, saturated versus unsaturated. We want to be consuming those unsaturated fats. And we do need all of these in our diet. We should be eating a balanced diet that consumes all of these macronutrients that our body needs. All right, so that was it for the nutrition intro. And I know I kind of went a little fast. So, you can definitely pause or go back and try to, think about what some of those things. When you are ready, you're going to go to the Microsoft Forms link that I have on Edsby. And there's 10 questions, multiple choice and short answer that were just discussed in this note. So this is the link, but I don't think you can click on it from here. You'll want to go back into Edsby, click on this little, it looks like the form icon. The link should pop up with that. When you are done, it will submit your answers to me. So there's nothing else you need to do to go back on Edsby to submit anything. So hopefully you learned a little something about nutrition today. Please feel free to ask any questions through Edsby or Remind if you have them. Again, we will do a food label activity along with this week, as well as a metabolism activity, calculating metabolism. And if we were in the classroom, we would have watched a movie, so I might put that up as an extra extension if you want to do that and answer some questions. There's some good nutritional movies out there. So looking forward to that this week. I hope you have a good week. Talk to you later. Bye.